What is going on, folks? I am Goat. Welcome to the breakdown. So, pardon me, I gotta take my old man pills. So, I posted that I wasn't going to be putting up a video this week, and honestly, I really meant to keep to that. But, mortality's a bitch. Life has a way of showing us that mortality is absolutely an existing thing that just loves to rear its ugly face. And anybody who was watching the highly anticipated Monday Night Football between the Bengals and the Bills got to witness that basically firsthand. So with that being said, I honestly I want to talk about it. Like, we're going to go over the week. Okay. And I mean, thankfully, for the purposes of staying on track, their game was the last game of the week, so we can take some time and discuss this. I'm no physician. I'm not going to sit here and go over the ins and outs of exactly what the fuck happened, aside from what was seen. Something I've never, ever witnessed before during a football game of any type. And then just kind of go over it from there. But we're just going to go ahead and cover week 17. And I just want to start week 17 by saying, I've said this so many times in comments, messages, statements to people. Any true fans of a sport do not want to see a player, somebody who's worked their life, worked up to that point in their life to be where they are, whether it's amateur sports, whether it's, pee-wee football, whether it's, intramural teams between, fucking junior highs, whether it's, high school football, college, NFL, whatever. It doesn't matter. NBA, anything. Nobody wants to see somebody who's dedicated themselves to a sport get fucked up. Like, the running, and no, this isn't me sobbing. I actually just have a cold, so sorry. The sniffles are annoying. The truth of the matter is this: the running joke would always, be during a game or something. Oh man, if they just take this person out, we don't want them hurt bad, but just take them out and at least give our team a chance. I think somebody's said that at some point in a joking fashion. And we say it as a joke. Some malicious people out there may not mean it as a joke, but the truth of it is most of us just say it in jest. And when it actually happens, even if it's a player that you weren't looking for, when something really detrimental happens to a player, we all sit back and we're all kind of awestruck at the situation. And, yesterday's Bills-Bengals game, that was about as awestruck and as shocking as anything could come to. So like I said, let's go through the rest of week 17, and then we'll talk about the Bills-Bengals potential playoff repercussions, as if that's really a major thing at this particular moment in time. It will be in a week or two, but as of right this moment, it's like football matters to a point, but, life matters. I think anybody with a conscience can probably reiterate that. So I went 8-7 for the week. Rough fucking week for picks, but of course it's the end of the season. Now, I finally went back and tallied up all of my picks throughout the season, and God be with me. As far as my picks for this season, this is literally the worst year I've ever had doing picks since I was 12 years old when I started doing seasonal picks. I am at a 51% win to loss ratio as far as choosing winning teams by the week. At 162, 81, and 2. My God. Yeah, that's a thing. So the Cowboys at the Titans. The Cowboys won this game 27-13. I picked the Cowboys to win this game, truthfully, because it just comes down to the massive amount of injuries that the Titans have sustained. They have basically injured themselves out of playoff contention unless they have a miracle game against the Jaguars in week 18. is a really surprising season, given how they started off a slight bit shaky looking, but then really rallied very well. And then because of just injury after injury after injury, they've just been so decimated. I mean, between the Ravens, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Titans, I mean, injuries have been just such a thing this season, man. I mean, oh my God, it's been crazy. But the Titans, the Ravens, the Rams, those teams have really, I mean, and the Cardinals, I mean, those 4 teams have probably been the most injury decimated teams this season, without question. I mean, it's hard to say that, the Titans, the way they looked last season, they looked very good last season. Not amazing, but they looked very good last season. And I mean, they looked to the point of being nearly unstoppable. So yeah, man. So, but yeah, how the mighty have fallen due to injuries, unfortunately. It's, again, I mean, it's the one thing we don't want to see. We want to see these teams actually be able to play it out as their rosters are set, right? So we don't want to see these injury-riddled fucking teams playing against, teams that have coming out of their injury, state and actually being at nearly full power, if not at full power. So, but yeah, unfortunately, for the Titans, they lost 27-13 to the Cowboys. It's really not a shock given how decimated they are with injuries. The next game was Cardinals at Falcons. Both are eliminated out of playoff contention as it is, and honestly, you could have picked either way, and neither way would have surprised me. Falcons came away with a win. I chose the Cardinals because I figured their defense was a little better, but hey, man, what the fuck do I know? I'm in pickle race with these guys. Falcons ended up winning the game 20-19 over the Cardinals. Patriots and Dolphins. I will say this, without Tua, the offense of the Dolphins looks very out of time. Like their timing routes are all fucked up. The offensive line is just out of whack. It's just like they've gotten very used to having, Tua back there. I'm not saying it's because Tua is that amazing, because I think Tua is a very average to, or well, I'm going to go with above average to good quarterback. But I mean, you play a season, you do your OTAs and you do your preseason, and you come into the season and you get very used to a certain way things are done with a quarterback, because that's the guy playing, calling the plays back there behind the line. So that's the guy that, whether he's got leadership skills or not, is regardless, it's nothing. But when you take that level of comfort out, then all of a sudden everything is a little out of whack because you've got somebody different back there. And the Dolphins offense just looks like they're a step off. But what's really concerning about the Dolphins, honestly, the last couple of weeks has been their defense. Their defense is really kind of shaky. It's surprising. The fact that the Patriots offense has been struggling all goddamn season. The fact that they've eked their way into the 7 seed position at this point, and that's not even a secure spot to be in, but right now that's where they sit for the playoffs. That says a lot. I mean, that says a ton about how much of a struggle of the offense that the Patriots have had. But the Dolphins gave up 23 fucking points, and the Patriots are just not that explosive of an offensive team. So they just literally just couldn't keep up with a weak performing team. Yeah, Patriots won this game 23-21. I honestly assumed that the Dolphins were going to win this game, and I was wrong. I was very wrong. So next game, Saints at Eagles. Now, again, this comes down to, yes, Gardner Minshew starting his second week as the starting quarterback over Jalen Hurts with his shoulder injury. It's a concerning thing for the Eagles, but I mean, they're still well in control of their own destiny. They're guaranteed a playoff spot, just maybe not the number 1 seed at the rate they're going. But this is honestly another one that the defense surprised me as far as how badly they're playing. Now, that's not to take away from my Saints, because I do love the New Orleans Saints, but their offenses had a lot of struggles this season, much like the Patriots. Good defense, very struggling offense. And the Eagles just, I mean, they lost 20-10, so it wasn't like this was a blowout game, but this is a very winnable game, even with your backup quarterback for the Eagles. And they just could not get it done, man. It was a bad game for the Eagles. So here they are, not in a great position. Next game, Colts at the Giants. If this wasn't a definition of things to come, I can honestly say I don't know what would be. Uh, Kayvon Thibodeau needs to be ejected from the fucking league. Okay. Defensive player for the New York Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau, literally needs to be thrown the fuck out of the NFL. Okay, what a fucking despicable bullshit maneuver. Nick Foles gets blasted, lands on the ball. I don't know if it was knocked the wind out of him, but he's laying on the fucking ground all fucked up. First of all, the Colts O-line just kind of meanders around like whatever. Their quarterback's on the ground, knocking just all fucked up. Second of all, Kayvon Thibodeau comes sliding in doing snow angels next to Nick Foles, who's injured on the ground. Fines don't even do this justice. That is one of the most despicable bullshit ordeals I think I've ever seen unfold on a screen. I mean, aside from that, yes, I chose the Giants to win because the Colts are just a mess, but that is literally one of the most despicable things I've seen in a long time. Absolutely deplorable fucking action, and Thibodeau needs to be removed from the NFL, at least for a season. Because nobody goes over and celebrates over a guy who's downed. Okay? No, that is not what you do. That is bullshit. But the Giants beat the Colts 38-10. Panthers at Buccaneers. Honestly, the Buccaneers have been such a quandary of a fucking team for me this season. Okay? They really have. They've had a lot of struggles, a lot of injuries. And just when you think that they are just not going to perform very well, they go the fuck off. And that's exactly what this game was. Mike Evans for 3 touchdowns. I think it's like the most I think it's the second or third time he's done that this season. But Mike Evans has had the ultimate Butterfinger dropsies issues going on. And the Buccaneers came back to beat the Panthers 30-24. I chose the Panthers to win because honestly, the Panthers had been surprisingly playing steady ball, and the Buccaneers have been trying to do last minute rallies left and right, kind of like the Ravens. So I just didn't see the struggle not being real. But you know, they went the fuck off at the end and you know, won another one. So kudos to the Bucs on that for just securing the 4 seed, I guess. Broncos at Chiefs. I'm gonna say this, although people you know, they look at teams like the Chiefs and the Bills and the Bengals, you know, and you know, the 49ers, you know, the Eagles, powerful teams, you know, high ranking teams. Hell, even the Cowboys this season, they're actually looking pretty fucking solid, losing some interesting games, much like the Chiefs. But you look at these games and you think, oh man, they're going against the weak ass Broncos. They're trash. Their coach is gone. The quarterback's a mess. You know, they've got injuries, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm going to tell you right now, there is the AFC West especially is very weird. Every divisional game is weird for every team. When they play inside of their own division, it's always a weird game because it's like the teams see each other twice a year and they just kind of have certain things figured out, certain things that just fuck up somebody's day kind of gameplay, right? The AFC West is true to this point to say the minimum, all right? It's most prevalent, honestly, with the Broncos and with the Raiders. Now, the Chargers, for the last couple of seasons, have actually been a pretty good team that have just kind of been shooting themselves in the foot here and there. But the Chargers games are usually close because it's 2 very good rosters going against each other. The Broncos have not been very good since basically Peyton Manning left. And the Raiders, although they were a sneak-in playoff contender last season, with them benching Derek Carr, their coach is just all over them. I mean, the Raiders are a fucking mess. We'll get into that. But the Chiefs playing the Broncos, I heard so many people talking about how the Chiefs were just going to blow the Broncos out this time because they had them figured out from the last game being close. No, I did not think that this was just going to be some crazy blowout. These games are always weird. Hell, I mean, the Broncos led in this game. Excuse me. The Broncos actually led in this game for a short period of time. That's how weird this game was. That's just how weird this game was, man. They don't always pan out as expected, but the Chiefs ended up winning 27-24. Broncos tried to come back, just couldn't quite get it done. So it was what it was. Yeah. So next game, Bears at Lions. Just damn. Lions went the fuck off and destroyed the Bears 41-10. That's all I got. Commanders playing for the right to be in the playoffs. And for some stupid fucking reason, their faith in Taylor Heineke is completely destroyed and just wrecked over Carson Wentz. So you get a good game in a Carson Wentz last week, right? Yeah. Guess what? You put Carson Wentz under a realistic pressure, just like last year with the Colts. He crumbles. He crumbles like an old withered, like an old super dried out cracker in the wind. Dude threw what, 3 picks in this fucking game? They lost the game to the Browns 24-10, and the Browns have been highly underperforming ever since Deshaun Watson stepped in. So yeah, they did not play well at all. Next. Jaguars at Texans, 31-3. Jaguars win. No shock. Jaguars are on a fucking roll, dude. That is a team that I said is better than their record, and they are proving it week to week. And next week's game is going to be for real. And then I come back to the next game, 49ers at Las Vegas Raiders. And although the Raiders are a fucking mess, that team they got some stank on them, man. They got the ability to do things. They just can't quite seem to pull it together. But the thing that kills me is this. They want to put the blame on Derek Carr, okay? Josh McDaniels wants to put the blame on Derek Carr. Put their backup in. Stidham, I think it was. Guess what? They still had the same result. They couldn't finish a fucking game. Whose fault is that? Are you going to blame Derek Carr for not even being in Vegas? If you can't finish the game with either quarterback, and you literally bench the previous starting quarterback the week before, so the guy who's starting this game has a full week's worth of reps to play, and he still can't finish the game, okay. I think you got more problems than a quarterback who's literally had 6 fucking coaches in his career. And much like Alex Smith has just had to relearn scheme after scheme after scheme. And the only time that Alex Smith looked good is when he had Jim Harbaugh, and then he had concussion problems their Super Bowl season, and Colin Kaepernick took his spot. Then Alex Smith came to Andy Reid, and Andy Reid just gave him comfort and gave him solace. Alex Smith had 2 good coaches, and that's what made him look like something more than just a basic bitch game manager quarterback. Especially Alex Smith's last season at the Chiefs. That motherfucker went off to try to get a contract. Same problem goes with Derek Carr. That fucking guy has had no goddamn continuity, and it's just like you can see the frustration boiling over with him. Obviously, he got benched probably for the fact that they don't want to have to pay him next year, so it's whatever. It is what it is. So the Jets at the Seahawks. Honestly, I thought that the Jets were going to take this game because, I mean, they're playing for their fucking season here. And guess what? They lost to the Seahawks 6-23. Just what a piss poor performance from the Seahawks. And by the way, the Raiders, they lost to, they kept it close. They really did, but they lost to the fucking 49ers 37-34. Jets lose to the Seahawks 23-6. Just piss poor performance from the Jets. I don't know what to say. Next goes for the Vikings as well. Vikings at Packers. These motherfuckers acted like they were just they'd already won the game before they showed up. And you know what? The Packers, although they've been a bit of a mess this season, they're not one to sleep on. And that's exactly what the Vikings did. Now, granted, it's another divisional game. They're always weird, but this made the Vikings look dumb. This game legitimately made the Vikings look absolutely stupid. They look like they were just strolling up in that bitch, we already won this game. We were way better than you. Guess what? They lost 41-17 to the Packers. Packers just blew their fucking doors off. Don't tell you. Next game, Rams at Chargers. Absolutely no fucking shock to this one. Rams are decimated and the Chargers are fucking for real. I mean, they've clinched a fucking playoff spot, for Christ's sake. They're for real. They're going to be a headache in the playoffs. And can they take it all the way? I don't know. I don't know if they have quite enough continuity to do it on defense. Offensively, they are a force to be reckoned with. They really are. I mean, they may have lost to the Chiefs twice, but it wasn't for lack of trying. For Christ's sake, we fucking, broke rib cartilage on Justin Herbert in the first meeting, and that was still a close game. I mean, for God's sake, that was a crazy fucking, both games of the Chargers and the Chiefs were crazy this year. So, I mean, kudos to the Chargers, man. They haven't been in the playoffs in a minute, and this is Justin Herbert's first fucking playoffs. So, I mean, kudos for being for real, man. Straight up. They beat the fucking Rams 31-10. Steelers at Ravens. I've been saying it all goddamn season, okay? I don't give a shit what quarterback's in there. When you take Lamar out and they still look exactly the fucking same, this is not a quarterback problem. Okay, this is a scheming problem. This is an execution problem. There's lots of problems going on with the Ravens, okay? Biggest problem is that they play 2.5 quarters really good, right? Well enough defensively, more than good enough defensively. Almost all of their games have been very low scoring games. They've got a very good defense, even when have been or are at the present moment just destroyed and decimated on fucking, with players. They still play really hard, but it's like they play so hard in the first 2.5 quarters that by the time they get to the middle of the third quarter, they got nothing left. So yeah, they lost to the Steelers 16-13. I said that the Steelers had a really good shot at giving them a headache, and that's exactly what happened. In the final game, I need to look at something really quick. Sorry, kiddo sent me a message. Final game, honestly, one of the most sought after games because this game was going to determine a lot of things. Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. We got to the 5.5 minute mark of the first quarter, and that game came to a very, very unfortunate fault and halt. Normal looking tackle, and all of a sudden, their safety goes to make a tackle, takes a blow to the chest, seemingly normal play, and then stands up and collapses. And then we get this 30-minute ordeal of what the fuck is going on. And this is a game where I will honestly say this game doesn't matter. This game really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. We want Hamlin to be okay. Talented kid, worked his ass off to get there, 24 years old, and literally died on the field for moments until they got his heart going again, and they were basically pumping on his chest to keep him breathing until they could get him into the ambulance. This is a terrible, terrible situation. Nobody knows if the game is even going to be played, how they're going to play it out. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't think the teams care right now. The only thing I can say is that the game was Buffalo 3 points, Bengals 7 points. Bengals had the ball. They were driving, and this really, really unfortunate situation with Damar Hamlin hit. And he's the guy who was in there playing for Micah Hyde. So just scary, man. So, I mean, we'll see how Damar Hamlin comes out. As of right now, he's critical condition, but they've got him stabilized. And there is no word on a reschedule, which I don't even know how they would reschedule this game. I really don't. I have a feeling they'll probably wash this game off to a tie, which is kind of fair to both teams and kind of unfair to both teams at the same time. It won't really hurt the Bengals, but it will hurt the Bills. From a playoff standpoint, doing the one thing that they were hoping to do was maintain, the first seed, and by, taking a tie, it will put them in the second seed. But I think that is a concession that they will take given what's happened, but I don't know. When it comes to the Bills organization right now, I don't think they give a shit about football at this present moment, nor should they. It's something that none of us have ever witnessed, a player literally dying and being resuscitated on field in front of national TV. Everybody knows it's possible. It's just, God. So I'm going to give you my picks for week 18. And then I'm going to get the hell off here. So lots of playoff implications for next week. And as of right now, everything is scheduled as it is for next week. There's been some flex games to Saturday and so on, as we would expect. But first game, Cardinals at 49ers. I loosely give playoff contention to this because if the Eagles lose another game, the 49ers, I believe, will take the first seed. I believe. Could be incorrect. But there's a lot of seeding, per se. Not so much with who's taking the final spot. There's only 3 final spots that aren't clinched in yet. So, but there's seeding implications with the Cardinals 49ers game. If for some reason the Cardinals show up to play and the 49ers fuck up, I could mess with some shit. But I'm choosing 49ers in that game. Browns at Steelers. I think the Browns are entirely too inconsistent, and the Steelers have got a lot to play for. So, I mean, they're going to need help, but the Steelers have got a lot to play for. So I am going to pick the Steelers on that one. Ravens at Bengals. I am definitely going to pick the Bengals on that one. I don't think that the Ravens can hold out the Bengals for all 4 quarters. I just don't. Vikings at Bears. If the Vikings can't pull this game off, we are going to see another one and done team. That's just how it's going to be. I think the Ravens are going to be a one and done team in the fucking playoffs unless they sort some shit out. So it is what it is. Cowboys at Commanders. I mean, the Commanders are, or if they start Carson Wentz, they're toast. I don't give a shit. I mean, the Cowboys have been very consistent over the last couple of weeks. And the Commanders have not. Next game, Lions at Packers. This is a huge playoff contention game right here. I'm going Lions for this game. I think they are just on fire this season. Surprisingly, started out very slow and are finishing very strong. And the Packers are building up steam, and I want to say that they're going to make it, but going against the Lions, the way they've been flying high up for the tail end of most of the season, it's going to be a tall task for the Packers. It could be a very close game, but I just see the Lions getting it done. Patriots at Bills. I think the Bills are going to come in with a thunder against the Patriots. I really do. The Patriots are fighting to stay in the final spot in the AFC division, but I don't think that they offensively have near enough to take on the Bills defense. I just don't. So, yeah, I think the Bills will take that one. Rams at Seahawks. I mean, Rams are going to put up a fight. McVay will not let them just throw in the towel, but at the same time, I think the Seahawks are also trying to put in a fight to stay in contention. Jets at Dolphins. I mean, the Jets have the potential to really whack the shit out of the Dolphins, and if Tua isn't back, God only knows, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins on that one. I'm going with the Seahawks and obviously the Bills on the other ones because I don't know if I said that or not. Chiefs at Raiders. I think the Raiders are just entirely too disjointed to really get the job done, but I do think it'll be a close game like it has been in previous years. I think the Raiders are going to make a fight of it, and I mean, could the Chiefs lose this game? Yes, if they do, they won't be in the first seed, I'll tell you that. But I mean, the Chiefs have had their own struggles here lately, and the Raiders are very capable of exploiting that, so we'll see, but I'm going Chiefs. Buccaneers at Falcons. I'm taking Bucks on that one. Giants at Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles, but I'm loosely taking the Eagles because honestly, if Hurts doesn't start, I don't know what the hell to expect Minshew. I don't know what I'm going to expect to see Minshew do against that Giants defense. I really don't. I hope Thibodeau is suspended. I'll tell you that on the Giants. But aside from that, and the way the Eagles defense played in this last game, like, what the fuck, bro? I mean, the Giants could easily take advantage of it if they play like that again. Panthers, Saints, both eliminated. I'm still saying Saints. Chargers, Broncos. The Chargers, I think, are gonna just beat the Broncos. I think it's that simple. Big playoff contention game. This is the AFC South, man. Titans at Jaguars. I'm going Jaguars. Final game, pure pickle race game. Texans at Colts. I'm going Texans. So that's all I got. So, folks, I want to thank you very much for watching. Keep your hearts out for Hamlin, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll catch you later.